So moved.
Second.
Motion by Marie, second by Amy. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda. Nominations: Melissa Olivieres for leadership office as an accountant. Appointments of Rita Couture, bus aide. Paco Maquis as a Biddeford High School custodian. Resignations: David Alexander from maintenance. Jay Demick, special education teacher. Transfers: Mbakana Pedro, moving to custodian, to maintenance, and Jenica Gosling as a multilingual EdTech 3 to an ESL English teacher.
So moved.
Motion by Marie, second by Amy. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Takes us to the superintendent's report. Our superintendent is excused tonight, so we have our assistant superintendent, Chris Indorf, for an update.
Good evening, folks. Just want to, for new members, if Carrie hasn't been in touch with you yet to have an orientation meeting with Jeremy, we'll be reaching out and scheduling our Freedom of Access training for you folks as well. So just want to put that on your radar. We've got 120 days from the time you're sworn in to complete that training. So one of us will be reaching shortly. Parents and community members, now is the time to sign up for COT classes. Our COT catalog is online, and we are scheduling program visits for the 26-27 school year. My oldest took a bunch of classes at COT and graduated with a semester's worth of college credits, and my middle son is also at the COT and having a great experience and is on the same trajectory. These classes do fill up quickly, so no matter what district you're from, sending district, chat with your guidance counselor, and we can set up a visit and get you scheduled. If you have a chance to get out to Unified Basketball, we've had a couple games in the last couple days, extraordinarily well attended. Got to see Thornton challenge Biddeford, a bitter rivalry last night for a while with the boys, which was great. And BMS has their first game against SMS across the river on the 26th at 3:45. Dennis does a really nice job of keeping the Biddeford Athletics page updated with schedules and scores. So for the full unified schedule, check that out. It's a time, great atmosphere, great athletes, incredible support from the community. Come on out. We want to congratulate a couple of Liz Ames art kids. I talked to Liz earlier today. She's really thrilled. We have a junior named Bryn Wilkinson and a sophomore named Shaylee Kennedy, who were recently selected for statewide honors exhibition by the Scholastic Art Awards. And their artwork is going to be displayed at Mecca through from February 20th through March 14th. So Liz does a great job with those kids, as does Karen and all our art teachers. So congratulations to those standout artists. Jeremy asked me to please thank and recognize, sorry, gotta get the pronunciation right. I even spelled it out phonetically, the Cayuzo family. They generated $15,000 to the Biddeford Education Foundation to support the Alternative Pathways Center, which is incredibly generous. And that gift is made in memory of Bill Cayuzo, who's a longtime teacher here at Biddeford High School. And finally, to families of our younger kids, our district is participating again this year in the Department of Education's Read to Me campaign, where we encourage the community to join us by reading with the child for at least 15 minutes. You can snap a photo or take a video that's ranging from 15 to 30 seconds long and post it with the hashtag #ReadToMeChallenge for others to see. And the Department of Ed is also tracking that hashtag and will feature student stories in their newsletter as well. I think that's it. Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions for the assistant superintendent? Seeing none, that takes us to student representative reports. Marcus.
With February break next week for our school, we look forward to this week. Class of 2027 is selling roses Valentine's Day. Buy us some for your. And that Friday, the class of 2029 is having a bake sale. I would like to wish the best of luck to Cordelia and the rest of the girls' hockey team as they take on Cheverus tonight in the regional final.
Thank you. Any questions for Marcus? Committee reports.
Policy met today. There is a link in the agenda to what we discussed today. Policies next meeting for us to read at. So if you have any questions, you Amy or myself, and
Marie?
The negotiations team met this past Monday. We'll also have our next meeting on February 23rd, which is a Monday as well. And that is with regards to the contract of EdTech One's two administrative assistants. So we have two meetings set up as well for March 9th and March 23rd as well. Getting started, but ball's rolling.
Thank you. Any other reports? Takes us to old business, of which there is none. So new business, we have a subsidy memo for fiscal year 2027.
Yeah, so Jeremy's provided looks like some good news this year for our initial state subsidy. If you had a chance to review that memo, just a couple of substantive things that I'd like to highlight. I mean, on the face of it, it looks like we're ready to party. 20% increase in subsidy year over year, but that's, we still only have 40% of our total allocation. And this 1 year bump is not a long-term solution, and it's not something we can rely on in the future. So I think Jeremy's cautioning the board not to get too enthusiastic about this year's bottom line. We had multiple kind of growth factors that fueled our subsidy this year. We had a 2% increase in economically disadvantaged. We had a 2% increase in enrollment overall. We had a significant increase in our multilingual population. And as you know, on the second page of the ED 279, we get quite a bump for multilingual learners. And then we had almost $2 million in exceptional special education subsidy for out-of-district placement and program needs. Also, Jeremy's been warning you about property valuation for a decade. This is a very unusual year where state valuation corporately exceeded Biddeford's locally by 2%. So ours was a little bit lower than the state average, so we weren't penalized as we usually are. And this funding is really just covering rising costs. It's not adding a lot in new programs. As we go through the budget with you guys line by line in coming weeks, you'll see how that sort of pans out. And, Jeremy continues to work with the state board and with legislatures to try and tweak the funding formula, give districts like ours who have high property valuation owing to Biddeford Pool and downtown development, some special consideration when it comes to the number of economically disadvantaged students that we serve. I think his tagline is that zip code should not determine your funding. He's continuing that work in earnest to try and come up with a more long-term and sustainable solution to school funding. Outside of that, if I speak about school funding, it is at my peril. So I am going to stop, and if you have questions, I am going to defer.
Any questions? That takes us to the first reading of an overnight field trip to Skills USA in Bangor. For a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Marie, second by Amy. Any discussion? All those in favor? It is unanimous. Thank you. Next item is item C, second reading of an overnight field trip to France and Spain.
So moved.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. Discussion? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Another second reading of an overnight field trip for Hospitality Maine Pro Start Culinary Competition.
So moved.
Moved by Marie, second by Amy. All those in favor? That is unanimous as well. Takes us to item E, a memo regarding the appointment of 3 school committee members to PEPG Steering Committee.
Yeah, so in 2014, the legislature passed a law requiring that schools have a systematic format for evaluating teachers, principals, and ed techs. And that law requires several things, and one of them is an annual revisit of that plan with a steering committee. And the composition of that steering committee is defined in law. It has to be 51% or greater of the constituents be members of the Teachers Association, and it needs to have representatives from around the school that represent diverse voices. So we have teachers, we have special educators, all of our building principals participate, human resources is on that group, but we also ask for 3 board members to participate. This is not a heavy lift. This is a once annual hour-long meeting. use a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways consensus model. It's been a very positive experience. We haven't made many substantive changes in recent years. We've kind of tweaked things at the margins. I think this system's working pretty well for us. We've honed it repeatedly over the last decade. But our proposed date for that steering committee would be at about 3:15 p.m. on March 24th. So Liam, I'm not sure exactly of the procedure, but I guess I'm kind of looking for a nomination of 3 people to serve for the length of this board term. So that would be 2 annual steering committees to serve on this.
Do you have any volunteers? Marie? Emily? Two? Tim?
Liam, thank you for that, but on the 24th, which I believe is a Tuesday, teaching a class at UNE, 3:30 to 6:20. So on Tuesdays, I'm not available.
Amy's going to cover for you. So we have 3 nominations, Amy, Marie, and Emily.
Thank you.
Looking for a formal motion?
Steering committee. School board.
Motion by Michelle, second by Amy. All those in favor? Is unanimous.
Thank you. And just by way of a quick note, we do this collaboratively with our Dayton colleagues. So Dayton appointed their board representative. Well, thank you very much to the 3 of you.
Takes us to item F, FY25, prevent student homelessness, additional allocation.
Yeah, this is a memo from Mandy without a lot of consequence. I mean, it's always good news when we get more money. So we had a preventing student homelessness grant that we awarded $62,000. And based on our October 1 counts, we were able to get a slight increase in that. As a condition of the grant, we have to notify the public. So that additional resource is primarily being used by our Welcome Center to provide emergency food supports. It will be used for disconnect notices come springtime. And in certain cases, housing.
Any questions? Amy?
How can we keep kids in house? We know there are kids who are.
There's never enough support. We have the best relationship we've ever had with GA. Jake is fantastic down there. Our relationship with Youthful Maine is strong. Our relationship with the Unitarian Church is strong. I think one of our biggest concerns is the closing of operations or the paring back of operations at county shelter programs in Alfred, on the board of which both Jeremy and I sit. But Seeds of Hope, Bessie Fowler is in talks with our interim executive director to take over the operations of the shelter, which would be, and the shelter is also seeking to maintain its portfolio of 36 housing units throughout York County. So it's not great news, but it's not terrible news. And if Seeds can expand its mission, I think that would be tremendous benefit. About half of the clients that are served at that shelter at any given time are from the city of Biddeford. Our Biddeford Education Foundation has an incredible endowment thanks to a generous gift, and our annual Pillars of Pride that Michelle does weeks and weeks and weeks of work on, brings in tens of thousands of dollars. And the original mission of the BEF was to augment and enrich academic programming, and it's really it does a lot of that still, but it also is a de facto social service agency that's always open, even when GA isn't. And because it's an independent 501c3, it has more flexibility to distribute funds more quickly to families. School department. Prime example of that is the lion's share of food support that we give to families on an emergency basis, Amy, is sin-free Hannaford gift cards, so you can't use them to buy tobacco or cigarettes. As a school department, thanks to Paul Violette, there's a shout out to the Old Main Turnpike Authority, who misspent hundreds of thousands of dollars on gift cards. Our auditors won't let us buy gift cards as a school department, but the BEF can buy gift cards. And so we buy those in $1,000 batches and distribute them to families. So we are always scrimping and scraping and applying for grants and looking for partnerships to help keep our kids fed, because if our kids aren't fed, they don't learn.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great for the community to know. I think there are right now some big mutual aid efforts, rapid response efforts underway. I'll link you up with anybody that I know about just to make sure that people aren't falling through the cracks and that when we hear about someone, we try and link them with whatever resources we can to keep these kids inside in the winter.
Thank you. I mean, to build on that, we have, there's an LD right now at the state legislature, 2124, which is an act to support emergency shelter funding. And the city council is taking that up on our agenda this upcoming Tuesday to signal our support and encourage our legislators to support that, which would help with some of that shelter funding that supports all of York County. So. Any other questions on this item? That takes us to the public participation portion of the meeting, a 3-minute limit. Anyone online, Chris?
I don't see anybody.
All right. Then takes us to communication. Any communication from committee members? I'll share a few items. I was actually able to attend the Unified Basketball Program on Friday when Biddeford High School took on Kennybunk High School. I think the scoring was in the triple digits.
Pretty
Very
impressive.
high scoring affair. Tigers won. Just congratulations to all those student athletes who participated. I hope to be able to attend future events as well. And then tonight, Pizza by Alex is supporting the Biddeford High School Indoor Marching Band and their program. So for each pizza sold, it's $1 will be donated to support those students. So for anyone interested, that's happening tonight. They close at 9 p.m. And thanks to Alex Pizza for supporting our programs. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Amy, second by Marie. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, that's the fastest one ever.
That's a record.